Welcome to UJDAA. In today's video we are going to learn about Blender, and most importantly in that we are going to learn about basic modeling and texturing. So let's get started. So first of all, open up Blender, and for this video I've decided that I would model a table. So let's do that. As usual, when you start up Blender you should notice a simple cube. So that's going to be our base for our table. I scaled it up to match our table's length and width. Increase the scale on X and Y axis. So once that's completed, let's add another face to our bottom of the table so that we can extrude legs for our table. So simply go into edit, select the bottom face and use the insert faces tool to add a face. Then once that's done, I started adding some vertices so that I could divide the table and create spaces for the legs. I just added 4 lines across the X and the Y axis. So what I did was use those lines to divide the corners. I used the shortcut key Ctrl R to do that. Then I selected all the 4 corners and extruded them, and that should do for our table. It doesn't have many more. We can go in and give more details, but we won't be doing that in this tutorial. Well, now that our table is done, let's go to texturing. So I'll just pull up this animator from below and change that window to shader editor. By the way, you can, if you don't have, you can just pull it out of take your mouse to the corner and pull it out. So let's go into the shader editor. So for this video I've downloaded some wood textures. You can actually find these textures on CC0 textures. They're all free if you want, so I'll leave a link in the description. So anyway, I dragged in the material texture, the normal map and the roughness map. So just drag the base color into base color and that should do for the texture. It should be applied. So another thing is that you should go into edit, preferences and enable the node wrangler add-on. So just go up there, search for node wrangler and enable it. It's going to be really useful from now on in shader editor. So now if you can see that I just pressed Ctrl T and mapping node for our texture. I can use that to increase the scale and mapping of the texture. So next, as for the roughness map, we'll just drag that and drop it in roughness. There's nothing much to it, it's easy. Just drop it into roughness and that should be done. And the last one is the normal map. So for that, what you do is search for normal map. For that, what you need to do is search for normal map, attach color to color, and then normal to normal, and then we can add mapping. Just select the normal map and press Ctrl T. To simply explain normal map, you need to know that it's like fake details on your models. What normal map does is that it reflects light, but it reflects right and shows edges, but there are no edges. Now you can see that texture is not properly applied onto our model. That's because we haven't unwrapped our surface. So what you do is go into edit mode, into faces, then press A to select all and right click and go into unwrap and use cube projection. That should unwrap our table and apply the textures properly. So now if you press Ctrl A, you can select our UV map and then we can move it around on our texture and apply it however we want. We can change the direction, rotate it, scale it, but it is usually recommended that you don't scale the map. let it be how it is. Right now I've rotated it, that's why the lines are slanting. You can try different types of unwrappings, each one will give different results, but it seems that cube projection gives the best results. So I would recommend that you use a cube projection. And that's it for texturing. It's almost done. So now if you go into the rendered view, we can set up our light. The table looks good, but we can make those legs into metal. So let's change the texture of those legs. So what you do is, first of all, let's go into shading mode, then go into edit mode, then select the legs, go into wireframe, and so that you can select the back legs at the same time. Then go into materials, add a new material, and press assign. This should assign a new material for your legs. Let's go to CCO textures. Alright, in CCO textures, let's search for metal. All these textures are free if you want. It's a pretty good site for textures. Let's go with that one. I'm gonna download this 4K version. It's 41 MB. And just select the location and download it. These textures are in zip file, so you have to extract it before you can use them. And once you extract them, you get the texture map, then a normal map, a roughness map. You can actually put displacement maps, and this is a metal texture, so we get the metallic map too if you want to use that, but we'll just be using the roughness, the metal, the texture, and the normal map. So what you do is add the base texture to the base color, add metallic to metallic node, then the roughness map to roughness node. Let's minimize these because we won't be interacting with them. Drag them up. Then what you do for normal map, we add a normal map node. In the same way, we add normal map to inside normal map, then color into the color slot, then normal map into the normal slot. So now if we go into shading mode, we can see that the legs are now black or metallic, which is pretty cool. If you are going to use these models for your game, so remember to export it as an OBJ or an FBX. Usually those two versions work the best. Or if you're going to use this for animation in Blender, you can just you can export it. So, but first of all, save your file. If you want to make something look real, it lies in the lighting setup you have. If you properly set up lights in your scene, everything looks good. So let's do that. So let's get started on lighting. I'm going to add a background first of all. Let's just make it like a room. Then I'm going to use bevel to bevel that edge and add some segments to make it a curve. That looks good. Okay. Shade smooth that so that no edges are visible. And then I went ahead and set up 3 lights for my scene. And now that I've set up lights, I'm setting up the camera. So that should be good. And now if you go into the rendered view, let's increase the brightness on these lights. At the moment they are really low, so what we do is increase the brightness on these lights, adjust them as we want, and once that's done, we can see that table's looking pretty good. You can actually see all those grains because I have I've actually changed the render engine to cycles. I made some small adjustments. Once the lighting was done, I used bevel modifier on the table, and then I rendered the image. To render the image, you can actually go like in the render menu and then select render image, or you can just press F12. So F12 is a shortcut to render the image, but only the things visible in the camera will be rendered, and that should do it. This is the final version. It looks pretty good. It can be better. It can be improved upon, of course. So like the video, leave a comment and subscribe. See you in the next one.